Hi, I'm Daniel Fisher here at Sweetwater Sound, and today I'm really excited to show you the Behringer Crave. It's a desktop analog semi-modular synthesizer. It has arpeggiation, it has sequences, it can do 32-note sequences, there's 64 of those. You have lots of in and out patch points, so you could take this to Eurorack or any other devices that use control voltage. It's also got true 5-pin DIN MIDI in, out, and through. You could also do that via USB. The knob sends sysx messages so you can record them and play them back. So let's talk a little bit about what's in here. So first, the Oscillator. It's based on the Prophet series from back in the 70s. So if you've ever had a Pro 1 or a Prophet 5, like you know that oscillator. It's the 3340 VCO as shown there, and it'll do sawtooth and square wave as well as pulse width modulation. You can manually control both the pulse width and the pulse width modulation. It's also got noise, and then all of that goes into the filter. It's a 4-pole ladder filter with full resonance and the ability to control that with envelopes LFOs in either direction. It can also be a high-pass filter. Then we've got the final output VCA that can either follow the envelope or the drone. The envelope has an attack, a decay, a sustain. The decay also works as the release, and you can turn the sustain on and off. For modulation, you've got an LFO with control over the rate. It can be square or triangle, but with patch cables, you can use both square and triangle wherever you want. And that's especially useful with this mixer here that mixes control voltage. You could take 2 or 1 source and mix how much of that goes somewhere or sweep between 2 sources. A lot of flexibility there. So let's start with the oscillator. Right now I have it set to the sawtooth wave, and I'm going to turn the VCA mode to drone so that it's always on. Now that's the low range. Now I can use these octave buttons to go way up to a high range. So play with there. Square wave. Now open up the white noise. So now I'll show you the ARP with the 8 different patterns. One of the cool things about the ARP is if I double click it, it'll hold the notes until I play new notes, letting my hands be free to play with the knobs. And then there's the sequencer. It can be up to 32 steps. There are 64 of them. You can add holds or rests or accents to any of the notes. And then when you play with an external MIDI keyboard, you can transpose the sequences in real time, which is very musical. So let's just record something real quick here. Let's try that. And so now let's talk a little bit about what semi-modular means. And it sounds like it's a lesser term, like, well, that's not as good as modular, it's only half. But it's a misnomer. Semi-modular means that, yeah, you can patch stuff, but semi-modular also means that you don't have to patch stuff. So in other words, when things aren't plugged into these jacks, they're doing the thing you would most likely want to do. So it lets you just start playing right away, and then when you want to try something different, you can patch it. So for example, let's say I wanted to play noise and I wanted the filter to track the keyboard so I could play the noise musically. Well, right now, if I just hit a key, I'm just going to get noise at the same frequency because I don't have any key tracking. But if I take a cable and come out of keyboard voltage and then go right into filter cutoff, now I should be able to play it. And the more resonance I turn up, the more it'll whistle. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the oscillator, I have it in sawtooth, and then I'm going to take the square wave out, or the pulse, and I'm going to use that to modulate the frequency modulation input here. So I'm going to come out pulse, I'm going into FM. Should be a pretty fat sound. But I don't have any way of controlling the amount of that modulation. I could just sweep frequency. But if I wanted to play with that, that's where this VC mixer comes in. It basically takes control voltages or audio and mixes between one and the other, or nothing and something. And that's how I'm going to use it. I'm going to take the oscillator pulse out. I'm going to go into mix 2. Then I'm going to come out of the VC mix and go back to the same place, turn this knob all the way to the left. It shouldn't do anything. And as I bring it up, it'll get to where we had it before. So you can hear there's a lot more textural sounds you can get out of that. I can also use control voltages to change tempo of the sequencer. I could change the volume. I could change filter cutoff, filter resonance. I can bring external audio in, which then comes in through this knob. Just lots of fun things to play with. And all of this stuff is really good for going out to Eurorack stuff as well. So it can be a nice little control box for some of your stuff if you want the keyboard. And again, that keyboard goes very wide because you have 8 octaves with this thing. So lots of range from full MIDI, low to high. And then you've also got the sweep of the frequency, which is quite wide. So you can go, as you heard, from the lowest clicks to just about as far as you can hear. Okay, so now I have the Arturia KeyStrep PRO as a MIDI controller going to the in of the Behringer Crave. The output of that is still going to the Nemesis delay by Source Audio. And this way I can have a little wider palette to play with on the keyboard than just that. And I'll be able to show you how you can use the keyboard after the fact to transpose the sequences, which again is very musical. Well, that just gives you a little taste of what the Behringer Crave can do. If you have any further questions about the Crave, the Arturia KeyStrep PRO, or the Nemesis delay by Source Audio, please contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. My name is Daniel Fisher. Thank you very much for watching.